Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Okay, so this is a video that I did not expect to be making this week at all. And I'm not really sure what order to put this video in. I have my receipts pulled up. I have everything pulled up, but I'm not really sure what order to put it in. So let me kind of explain to you what happened. So yesterday I did this video about Bad Baby and Alabama Barker. For those of you that watched it, I really appreciate it. I listened to their music videos, I reacted to their music videos and talked about their beef that they're having and things like that. And I said in my video yesterday that people reach out to me, specifically in direct messages on Instagram. It's really the only social media that I'm pretty active on anymore, except for YouTube. And so people ask me all the time, they're like, well, will you talk about this or will you talk about that? And many times I don't know what those subjects are, those subjects like geometry and business math. I don't know what those subjects or topics are, and so I don't go into them. And people will be like, well, just watch the videos and then react to it. And I'm always kind of like nervous to do that, you know, because I'm like, well, what if I put something wrong out there? What if I say something wrong or whatever, you know? And then I'll get eaten alive and people will be like, do you not know that this actually yesterday I was listening to a lyric from Bad Baby's song and I think it's This Is Us. I don't even know. And somebody said, not somebody, I got like 4 comments on the video and people, because I said in there, is that a Bad Baby song? And I said, I know Stevie Nicks, I don't know Bad Baby. And people they just thought it was hilarious. Oh my God, and they didn't realize I was a stand-up comedian. They're like, did you not know that was Kendrick Lamar? No, I had no idea that was Kendrick Lamar. I couldn't name one Kendrick Lamar song for you. I know that wasn't Kendrick Lamar who did the Super Bowl halftime show. I don't know who played the Super Bowl. Oh no, Taylor Swift's boyfriend. He was in the Super Bowl, right? And he's the Kansas City Chiefs. Is that right? But I don't know who won the Super Bowl. The other team. I know that Taylor Swift's boyfriend didn't win. Was it New York? Not New York, the reality star. I don't know. I don't care. Listen, I hit about, actually it was about when my mom passed away, so 35 years old, where stuff that I didn't care anymore about, I just stopped investing my time and energy into it. And football was one of those things. Football was one of those things. I tried for years and years and years to understand football. My dad, my mom, my stepmom, they all love, like, college football, NFL, listen, touchdown, all of it, yards. I don't get it, okay? I couldn't tell you what a yard is. I can tell you what a yardstick is, but I don't get it, okay? I don't get none of it, and so I don't really care. And so I stopped acting like a long time ago about stuff that I don't know. I think it's easier just to say, I don't know, There's no fault in not knowing stuff. So anyway, but there are things that I do know. And so I did this video yesterday, and in the video I explained that, and the reason that I'm sitting right here is because I have all my stuff tuned up, but also because a couple of you were like, oh, I really like the ring light. Okay, let me explain the ring light to you first of all. It's my husband's ring light. So my ring light's right over there. So, but this one's easier to pull out. There you go. So my husband does Zoom meetings over there in the corner. And so if you see my vlogs, his ring light is always behind there. So I just pulled it out. Well, you can't turn it up and down. So it's like on the brightest setting possible. So it's like washing me out. But anyway, so a couple of you said that you really liked me sitting in front of the ring light instead of in the bedroom. So I thought we'll do this today. Okay. So I said yesterday in my video that people reach out to me all the time. People want me to talk about Ash Trevino. I don't know nothing. I don't know a whole lot about that girl. Okay. I know she's got bed bugs. That's all I know really about that girl. I don't know about the allegations. I don't know a whole lot about that. Now, if you want me to do a deep dive on Ash Trevino like I did yesterday, okay, we can do that. We can do that. Getting important spam notices from the world. Okay. I got my volume turned down now. We don't have to worry about any more distractions. Okay, so anyway, so I said in my video yesterday, I said, if you guys, want me to respond to stuff that I don't know, then I'm going to start doing these amateur deep dive investigations. And I kind of showed in real time what I had done the night before when I was outlining the video and, getting my notes together. And I've been looking at Alabama Barker TikToks and Bad Baby TikToks and music videos and all that kind of stuff, right? So I explained all that. So when I did the video about Alabama Barker or Bad Baby versus Alabama Barker and what all that stuff's about, which thank you for further educating me on something that I could care less about. Girls, less fighting, more love. I think that's what the world needs, don't you? You girls could be good examples of what the world needs now is love, sweet love. Is that the words? What the world needs now is love. Yes, sweet love. Anyway, Bad Baby in Alabama. Y'all need to get on the same page and start loving one each other, okay? That's what you need to do. But anyway, so in the video, I was talking about Alabama Barker, and I said I didn't really know a whole lot about her, you know? And I said I knew, like, she was Travis Barker's daughter and things like that, which people wanted to inform me that that was actually not true, that she was actually Oscar De La Hoya's daughter. And so then I said something about the fact that Shane Dawson, I remember that Shane Dawson, one of parts of his cancellation was that he had made some comments about Alabama Barker in his podcast from years and years and years ago. And I said, and I remember that was like part of his cancellation. The reason I remember that was because I made a video on it at the time. So anyway, but people were quick to inform me, no, Peter, you were wrong. You were wrong. It was Willow Smith. It wasn't Alabama Barker. And I was like, well, no, I remember the Willow Smith allegations. And I remember Jada Smith coming out and saying something about Shane Dawson. But I also remember Shannon Moakler coming out and speaking about Shane Dawson as well. I was like, I remember seeing her like in an Instagram story or a live or something talking about calling Shane Dawson creepy. I remember that. And I was like, where is this at? Now, just before we get into this, because I want to clear some things up, I did put some comments in the comment section below. But y'all, Google is an amazing thing. It is an amazing thing. You can get here. I'm going to show you how to do it right here. We're going to do it in live time, okay? Look, pulled it up, Google. And what you can do in here is you can do this, okay? All right, this is like we're in school. If I had the Google when I was in school, I wouldn't have graduated with a 1.86, you know. But listen, I did end up graduating, okay? And I went in to get my master's degree, and now I'm a YouTuber, and it's all worthless anyway, you know. And Bad Baby's making $57 million on the OnlyFans. So listen, you know what? Listen, I don't know what to say about all that. But anyway, when you Google, you get put in the Google search. It's real easy, okay, for everybody that wanted to educate me on this yesterday. Because I didn't know. And I was like, well, I looked this up like 4 times last night, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, okay? Alabama Barker, put her name in here, okay? Alabama Barker, and then you can put in here biological father, okay? And it comes up Travis Barker, all right? And so then it says, it goes in here and talks about how you can go in here and you can look up biological mother, and it comes up Shannon Moakler, okay? Who I keep on calling Shannon Moakley. The only thing I knew about Shannon Moakler was that I thought she'd won Miss USA, but I guess she was a runner-up to it. So congratulations to her on that. Okay. But then when you look up here and you look up, because people ask, or they didn't ask, they told me yesterday, Peter, you're wrong. Oscar De La Hoya, okay, De La Hoya, here I already have it pulled up, Alabama biological daughter, and it's actually Atiana. I already know this because I looked it up, okay, biological daughter with Shannon Moakley, okay? And you can look this up, or Shannon Moakler. I'm going to forever mess her name up, okay? And it comes up, and it says, Oscar De La Hoya's biological daughter with Shannon Moakler is Atiana De La Hoya. Born in 1999, she was raised primarily by her mother and then husband, Travis Barker, okay? Now, I know a lot of you that live your life on TikToks are very confused about this, okay? Somebody even commented and said, Peter, Oscar De La Hoya is, I'd be kind of interested to know what this specific person thinks about this. I mean, everybody was real nice about it. Everybody's like real nice when they like, you know, like when I get something, they think I get something wrong and they want to like, most times when people say I get something wrong and I know that I'm right about it, I don't even comment back. But yesterday I kind of did. So anyway, I know it wasn't nasty. I just kind of was like, no, actually, it's and somebody was like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't know. But listen, if I get something wrong, quickly educate me in the comment section. Y'all educate me a lot, right? But somebody said, they said, Peter, actually, Alabama Barker's biological father is Oscar De La Hoya, and Travis Barker raised her. But that still doesn't make, and they said, that still doesn't make cultural appropriation right. And I was like, I don't know that I think that's true after I was on the Google last night for an hour looking at Miss Alabama Barker, but maybe I'm wrong, okay? I don't know. She needs to get that shit sorted out before she, before she enters junior college, because I don't think this rap career is faring her well, and she's going to have to do something. So I just want to make that clear, first of all, okay? For all of you that inform me that Oscar De La Hoya is Alabama Barker's biological father. That is absolutely 100% not true. You can Google it right here. I'm looking at it. Right here, you can look it up. You can look it up, okay? Travis Barker is Alabama Barker's biological father, all right? Atiana Atiana that Travis Barker helped raise. And there was even whole articles written about it, about how Oscar De La Hoya was so thankful to Travis Barker for helping raise Atiana. There's whole articles about it. I read it last night because I thought, well, did I get this wrong? Listen, if you have watched my channel long enough, you know one thing is, I am quick, okay? I am quick to come over here, and I am quick to correct myself. If I get something wrong, I will correct myself with quickness. Okay, so that went in a whole different direction. I thought I was just going to kind of talk about that for a second. So anyway, so I, last night, started getting comments about when I made the comment about Alabama Barker. And what I knew about her was that I didn't know anything about her until this Bad Baby thing happened. People started reaching out to me. I was like, who is she? That's a cute name for, Alabama. I said yesterday, I love state names, okay? I do love state names. Georgia is one of my favorite names of life. I love that name so much. But anyway, I was like, I don't know this girl. I don't know her at all, you know? And so I said, the only thing I know about her is that Shane Dawson, part of his cancellation, was that he had made some inappropriate comments about her when she was a child. And so I got several comments on my video, and people were like, that wasn't Alabama Barker. That was Willow Smith. And I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure that was Alabama Barker because I made a video about it. Now I went into YouTube and I looked for my video and I can't find it. So I don't know which video it was, but I made a video about it because I can remember, okay, screenshotting the Shanna, what's her name? Mokler. Shanna Mokler, the little Instagram story. I have it for you right here. I have it for you, okay? Thank you to T-Stash for having it. Now, last night, now this is important, okay? Because we're going to talk about cancellation today. We're going to talk about rumors, gossip, the importance of drama channels and stuff. Okay, first of all, I have always said on this channel, yes, I whip out a fan. Got them right here. Look, I got so many fans right here. I got fans, I got tambourines, I got lip gloss, I got it all, okay? But it's part of this channel is to have fun, but also part of this channel is to inform and have conversations about things, okay? And I have said for a long time that I do not like having these deep, dark conversations about things. I just don't, okay? It's not fun for me on this channel. I like this channel to provide a little bit of an escape for people. People want to come over here, they want to laugh, they want to hear me be shady, they want to make, hear me, make little jokes about things and whatever. And I don't really love talking about the deep, dark stuff. From time to time, I have in the past because, in the long past, because people bring it to me and a lot of people were talking about it. At the time of the James Charles allegations, which is going to come into the video today. At the time of the James Charles, if it looks like I'm squinting, I am, because I feel like I'm like literally staring at the sun right now, okay? But at the time that the James Charles allegations came out, the original allegations, okay? I was not really part of people making those videos. Because I just, for one thing, I just was like, it was really, the James Charles allegations were really the first huge thing that had ever come out like that since I was doing drama commentary. And, I've always said this for years. I don't care if you call me a commentary channel, a drama channel, a tea channel, a gossip channel. I don't really care what you call me, okay? As long as you're watching my videos. That means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. But I don't really care what category I fit in. I have always said from the very beginning that my job exists so that I can inform the consumer, which is you, the consumer of YouTube, okay, or the people that are buying these people's merch or their products, whose money you are lining, or whose pockets you are lining with money, whose products you're buying, and do you support that person? We live in a world right now, like this is what's baffling to me when it comes to influencers, okay, is that we live in a world right now where people will not go to certain stores for certain things. And I think that is absolutely 100% correct, okay? But then it's like they will overlook the wrongdoings and the problematic behavior of influencers that have never made corrections about it, never come out and directly apologize for these things, and we don't even know if they've changed, right? But people continue to line I was looking at this like, last night I happened to go into James Charles' Instagram story because I was like, I haven't looked at his stories in a while. And he's in like a hotel somewhere, I think in London or something. And I'm like, that's literally like a $5,000 a night hotel. I stay in enough hotels, I know. It's like a suite. It's like a 3-room suite in a hotel. I mean, he's probably got his glam squad in one room. He's in another room, things like that. I'm like, he has a shit ton of money, okay? And it's like, people kind of just forget the cancellations, right? Well, like I said, I don't really care what category you put me in. Call me a drama channel, call me a gossip channel, call me a shit-talking tea channel. I don't really care, okay? But for a long time, ever since I've talked about the Colleen Ballinger thing, because when the Colleen Ballinger allegations came out and the James Charles allegations came out, I thought, you know what? The first time around with James Charles, I did not enter my voice into the conversation. And so I think this time I'm going to. And there were some reasons why I didn't the previous time, okay? But I was like, I think, and if you guys want to know more about that, okay, about the insidiousness of how James Charles was trying to manipulate drama channels at that time, I am more than willing to do a whole video about that. James Charles was sending receipts to drama channels, he was doing this, and there was two people that were left out, myself and Here for the Tea, were the two people that he wasn't sending receipts to at that time, and there was a lot of reasons why. So if you want me to do a whole video about that, I can, but people say nobody cares about this anymore. That's part of the problem, okay? Is that people say they don't care about this anymore. So anyway, so whatever category I fit into, you know, when I started doing the Colleen Ballinger thing, and Swoop was covering the Colleen Ballinger thing, you know, all through that, interviewing people, you know, interviewed Colleen Ballinger's ex-husband and things like that, I quoted Swoop in one of my videos, and I said, it's not drama, it's dangerous, because I do believe that, right? And so, you know, I can do a lighthearted video where I'm flipping a fan, but then there are serious conversations, and people have always said that they really enjoy my serious conversations because I offer a different point of view, and I appreciate that. I do, you know? So I don't really care what category that I am fitting into, but let's not be mistaken that when I'm bringing information to you guys, okay, this is my question. People have always said for a long time, like the James Charles allegations, they're not drama, okay? Or the Colleen Ballinger allegations, they're not drama, they're dangerous. Well, if you align yourself with that belief system, then why are these people still, I mean, I'm just asking. I'm never going to tell anybody who to watch, what products to buy. I'm just going to give you the information. You have to make the choice you're going to make. But why do these people still have platforms? Why do these people still have brands? Why do these people still have the ability to get online and nobody holds them accountable for it anymore? Is it because it really is always drama from the beginning? And that's the end result, right? Is that maybe it just really is drama and that nobody really is that invested in what's happening to real people out there. Okay, so I don't know. Somebody explain it to me. I'm confused, because if it really is that serious and people take it that seriously, then these people, like I've used this example before, like Kevin Spacey in Hollywood, they would be blacklisted. Like nobody would be watching their videos. Nobody would be listening to their podcasts. No brands would be inviting them around. You know, James Charles is somebody that got in a video. I mean, I literally, with a YouTube search that will take me, look, I'll show you how long it'll take me. YouTube.com. Here, let me put this in. YouTube.com. Still do the com. Okay, YouTube.com. It's been re-uploaded. James Charles apology video. You can put it up in here, and it'll be an open conversation. That's the second video. No more lies. Here it is. James Charles holding myself accountable video upload. It's got 158,000 views on it. You can go watch it yourself where he talks about the victims. It's the third video that comes up on YouTube when you search James Charles apology. All right? So it's the third one. The first two are his. The first one is an open conversation. It's the second video that he came back after his apology video, and he wanted to have a deeper conversation and blame it all on Deaf Noodles, the drama channel. Because Deaf Noodles at that time was putting out all the allegations that were coming out, and many of those allegations were false. And so James Charles was using the false allegations to say, well, if there are all these false allegations, then there can be no truth to the real allegations. When he had already uploaded a video and taken it down called Holding Myself Accountable. And in that video, he apologizes to his victims, okay? And talks about power differential and talks about that he knew that what he was doing was wrong. He also says in there with a quick search of their profile page, he could have found out their ages, all right? But then people are like, well, James Charles didn't really do that. There were a lot of people that were making it up. This kid said he lied, things like that. Okay. So yesterday I did this video, because we're going to get back to the James Charles thing in a second. So yesterday I did this video. And in the video, like I said, I talked about that. The only reason I really knew Alabama Barker, I didn't even know her name. I just knew that Travis Barker and Shanna, what's her name? I can never remember this gal's name. Shanna Moakler, okay? The only reason I knew their daughter was because she had been involved in the allegations against Shane Dawson years ago, all right? So I got like one comment on the video, and somebody said, and listen, everybody said it in a real nice way. They were real nice, you know, but they were like, Peter, it wasn't Alabama Barker that Shane Dawson made the comments about. It was Willow Smith. And I was like, well, I remember the Willow Smith allegations, but I don't think that it was just her. I remember Travis and Shanna Moakler being involved in this. I remember Shanna Moakler coming out. I was like, I have a good memory, you guys, okay? And I was like, how do I remember this? Well, I kind of just was like, you know, it is what it is. And then I got another comment like a half an hour later, and I was like, am I wrong about this? Like, I didn't want to get in a video and be like, oh, like I said this and like that's completely wrong. So I was like, I need to look into this because I want to get on video tomorrow and be like, I was completely wrong. Like, Alabama Barker was not part of the Shane Dawson allegations. Okay, what's interesting about this, all right, when you look it up, is if you Google search, back to the Google, okay? Shane Dawson, I mean, I've searched so many things with Shane Dawson last night, okay? Shane Dawson comments about Travis Barker's daughter, okay? Nothing comes up. There's TikToks, but the TikToks don't really have anything about that. Alabama posted a TikTok and responded to, it has nothing to do with that. I mean, there's nothing. There is literally nothing about this. There's a YouTube video from Holly Scoop that says Shane Dawson slammed by Jada Pinkett Smith and Jaden Smith. There's one about that. I mean, there's nothing Shane Dawson has come under fire for his comments on, and this is about the P jokes, the P words you can't say on YouTube, okay? Including calling an infant a sexy child, is what it says. The video has since been deleted, but clips, it goes on here and says all this kind of stuff, okay? So this is an article from Australia from a magazine called Girlfriend. Shane Dawson has come under fire for his comments on the P word. And there's a quote, I think Shane Dawson is a P, here's my proof. This is from January 12th of 2018. Okay, so let's read the article. Someone has shared one of Shane's old videos from his Shane and Friends web series entitled it, I think Shane Dawson is a P, here's my proof. In the video, Shane makes a bunch of offensive P jokes, including calling an infant a sexy child. Well, he says she's 6 years old. He doesn't say she's an infant. The video has since been deleted, but clips and extracts have been circulating on Twitter, and people are furious. After noticing the online backlash, Shane made an apology video where he denied the P allegations and said sorry for making inappropriate jokes. I want to go on record and say I am not a effing P. Got it. Great. There's my statement, he said. Very bitter. I love the feeling of making somebody shocked and laugh because they couldn't believe what was coming out of my mouth. I wasn't confident enough to make smarter jokes. He has also tweeted a lengthy apology in response to a fan. The jokes are old and were out of context. He goes and talks about his childhood and what happened to him as in childhood, which is horrible. I dealt with it by making jokes, and I've grown up and I stopped doing that. People just don't want to let me move on. This whole experience was insane and awful, and I don't wish it on anyone. And he goes out, and that was his tweet that he put out. Okay, so before we get into this, I just want to say, Shane Dawson is somebody that I have covered extensively in the past, extensively, and made a lot of videos about, including about his cancellation. At first, I sang Shane Dawson's praises out. You know, I met Shane Dawson in Las Vegas. He was nice enough to meet with me. I met him and Rylan, Andrew, and Garrett. I spent like an hour and a half, 2 hours with him. My husband and I did. My husband could care less. He had no idea who any of them were. But I met them. I did a video after that. Shane was like, do a video afterwards. People are like, why'd you make a video about it if you didn't care? I was like, Shane told me to make a video. He was like, make a video about meeting me. I was like, I mean, he didn't say you have to. He was just like, hey, you should make a video about meeting me. I was like, okay, I will. So I went up to the hotel room. I made a video about that. You know, people all the time are like, oh, you used to love him, whatever. Your opinion doesn't change about people. Your opinion doesn't change about people. I have a lot of history with Shane Dawson on why my opinion has changed about who he is over time. In that moment, he was very nice to me. He was very gracious. But my opinion's changed a lot about him over time, okay? And my opinion continues to change about Shane Dawson. I would say in the last year, I have not seen Shane Dawson be as problematic as he used to be. I just haven't. I have seen Shane Dawson, I don't know, maybe he has a better edit button. I don't watch his podcast unless somebody sends something to me that I need to see. I don't watch him as closely, but he hasn't been involved in huge cancellation drama that I have noticed in the last year or two at all. I haven't really noticed it. So, I mean, props on staying out of trouble, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, I guess that's the world we live in. Like, if you're not, you know, contributing something negatively to the world, we should give you a blue ribbon for that or something. But no, I mean, like, as far as, like, drama commentary goes, I haven't really noticed him. I mean, there's been a couple of slips here and there. I've always said, first of all, I don't think Shane thinks there's anything wrong with his humor, all right? Number one. Number two is, I don't think he has an edit button. When he edits stuff out, I think it's because he's got Rylan there saying, you should probably watch what you just said. Or somebody else saying, Shane, that's not going to fly. I think he's probably like, what? There was nothing wrong with what I said. I don't know. Maybe his edit button's changed. You know, maybe he has grown and changed as a person. I don't know. I'm not the judge and jury of Shane Dawson. I don't know. But I will tell you this, that whenever I make a Shane Dawson video, there are always people that say, we will never forget what Shane Dawson did. There are still people actively talking about it, talking about what did Shane Dawson do and why did, you know, from everything from blackface to the pee allegations to this stuff to that stuff. I mean, there's so many allegations about Shane Dawson out there, right? So I was like, I want to look into this specific one because if I got this wrong, I want to make sure, okay? So deep down into my search, I found this tweet that came out on June 28th of 2020 on T-Sesh's account. So thank you, T-Sesh, for still having this up on your account. And it is a Instagram story or reel or something that is copied from Shanna Moakler, okay? And it is her response to Shane Dawson. Now, T-Sesh has put in the tweet. The tweet is, Shanna Moakler, the mom of a 6-year-old that Shane Dawson said looked sexy, speaks out and refers to him as a creepy P-word. Okay, so I was interested because this was June 28th of 2020, and I was like, well, here, I remember this correctly. Watching it, I was like, oh, I totally remember her coming out and saying this. What's interesting is, it's like it's been washed from the internet. Like, other than her tweet, you can't find any reference between Shane Dawson and Shanna Moakler and Travis Barker. I believe Travis Barker even came out. If I could find my video and what it was, I believe that Travis Barker came out and spoke about it too. Because I think they both said something about it. I feel like there's some like Instagram something where Travis Barker's in the background and Shanna Moakler are speaking. I don't know why I remember that, but anyway, I could be wrong about that. But the comments underneath here are interesting. Somebody said, T-Sesh said, found the unedited version since Shane keeps saying it's edited to make him look bad. I truly believed it was. And then she links the unedited version, which I have right here for you. We're going to play it in just a second. And somebody said, her father is Travis Barker. People are talking about that in 2020, that this girl is... So anyway. Okay, so then I was like, I'm going to go to this video that she has linked on here. And I was like, and let's see if it's still up. Because I was like, I bet it's not still up. It is still up. And it has 224,748 views. And the channel name is TTVAN TV. The video, if you want to go look at it on YouTube, is called Shane Dawson Does His Best to Justify the P Word. Okay? If you just put in Shane Dawson Justified, I think that's what I put in, and it pulls it up. I put in Shane Dawson Justified, and it pulls it up, okay? So when you read underneath here, they give a good description, okay, of the podcast. They put at the top, do not understand how YouTube still has him on their platform. And the video that they made came out on June 28th of 2020. Shane and Friends was an American audiovisual podcast created by YouTuber Shane Dawson, hosted by himself, Jessica Buttafuoco, originally as podcaster Lauren Schnipper, and Drew Monson. The podcast premiered on June 5th, 2013 on SoundCloud and iTunes. It talks about the show focusing on people that they talked about, and they had celebrities on there such as Amanda Lepore. I don't know much about clothes, but my hair looks fierce. I love Amanda Lepore. Jeanette McCurdy, Jamie Kennedy, Eugenia Cooney, Joey Graceffa. It goes on and on and on. The interview format has been compared to that of Howard Stern, with Dawson stating, Howard Stern is one of my idols. Interesting. I love interviewing people and getting them to talk about things they never talk about. Okay. In November 2017, it was announced that Fullscreens goes on and talks about how it was canceled. In March 2019, after controversy surrounding Dawson's remarks in certain podcast episodes, all past episodes of the podcast were deleted from both iTunes and SoundCloud, though many unofficial copies of the audio can be found online. So this is a 4-minute and 31-second clip of his podcast. Now, I am not going to play all of it, but I'm just going to play, I went in, and at the 47-second mark is where he starts talking about, he is out somewhere, he doesn't say who it is, but he meets this girl, and he, people put together that this was Alabama Barker, that this was Travis Barker and Shanna Moakler's daughter, okay? This is why Shanna Moakler made the response to it. So this is where he is talking about, it's a little bit, to be honest with you, it's a little bit more disturbing than I remember it being. So this is the clip of it, if you guys would, we're going to react to it, okay? I got all the volume turned up. We're doing an old school over here. Oh, you know what? My video is going to stop in 15 seconds. Hold on. I'm glad I noticed that, or I would have started playing it and then the video would have stopped. Okay, you ready? Here we go.
No, but this child was probably 6 years old. And I was taking a picture of something, and the kid turns to me and goes, "Oh, are you Instagramming?" And first of all, how does a 5-year-old, 6-year-old know what Instagram is?
Right.
Okay, so he's talking about a 6-year-old child, okay? First of all. And later he says they told him that that they were 6.
It was terrifying. Second of all, I was embarrassed because, yes, I was, and it was a picture of my salad. So then,
that's exploitation
Yes,
stuff. I
it was.
saw it. Looked amazing.
And the 6-year-old girl goes, "Oh, how many followers do you have?" I mean, first of all, it was almost like one of those contests where it's like, how big is your dick?
So he goes in this whole thing, and in a second he starts talking about how big is your dick thing, right? What's interesting to me about this is he's noticing that a 6-year-old is asking him about followers. Okay, let's flash back to Shane having Bobby on his, do you remember the guy Bobby that he ended up destroying? Okay, on his videos, his biggest fan and all that kind of stuff, that he would have in the background his social blade and it ticking up at all times. And I can remember talking to Trisha Paytas back in the day, and Trisha said at any given time, Shane's watching like 20 to 30 people and seeing like what their numbers are going. He knows people's followers. He watches that stuff very closely, and then he has them on his videos. It's a way to cross-pollinate his audience. So he's very aware of people's followings, probably even a 6-year-old child's.
And this kid slapped her huge dick on the table and was like, a 6-year-old who goes, "Oh, I have 125,000.
No.
Her dick was almost as big as mine.
Really?
And I said, "Okay, little big dick, why do you have so many followers?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm a cheerleader." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" And she shows me her Instagrams, which are like, first of all, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but like, she's like sexy.
You're disgusting.
I know, listen, we've talked about pedophilia before.
Shane, like, do not say this, and like, I don't even want to.
Okay, so he just describes the 6-year-old, her pictures as sexy, and he says, I know we've talked about, and his co-host says that he's disgusting, and then he goes, I know we've talked about the P word before. He says it. Before anybody else ever caught it and said it, he says it on his own podcast, which lets you know that he's aware of how this conversation sounds.
Talk about it. Like, you will get arrested. Like, he kind of can.
Listen,
he has this
allegedly.
justification for pedophilia,
Okay.
and it's so disturbing. And like, I just pretend that he doesn't.
Okay, wait,
and, like,
no, let me explain.
No.
Oh,
God.
Here's my...
What's interesting to me about this is that this podcast was platformed on YouTube, okay? You can't even say the P word on YouTube anymore. You can't even say it. Your video will probably get flagged if you say it more than like 2 or 3 times, okay? But this podcast, where they're talking about a 6-year-old girl, is up for a very long time. Okay.
Justification for pedophilia.
I can't.
Okay, first of all, let me just say, having sex with children or touching children or anything of that nature is terrible.
Sure.
You should not do it. But here's my thing. People have foot fetishes. People have fetishes about, everything. And there's websites on the internet where they can look at that weird, creepy shit and jerk off to it. Okay, fine. Everybody do your thing. So why is it when somebody looks at Google's like naked baby on Google and jerks off to it, they can get arrested? I don't understand that.
Because
When people ask, okay, when Shane Dawson, does this put a different perspective on it when you go back and you look at, and Shane said that it was edited to make him sound that way. There's no edits in this. It's a conversation between him and his co-host. There's no editing in there, okay? When Shane Dawson came out years later and said that, like he didn't think it was fair that he was canceled and all this kind of stuff. I mean, I'm confused what he's confused about.
there's a naked because somebody took a picture of a naked baby. And then by the way, they're not Googling naked baby. They're Googling, like, I'm not going to say what they're Googling. I mean, I watch a lot of Law and Order.
Wait, here's the worst part of it. I actually went to Google and I'm like,
oh, God.
I don't want to see...
You can get arrested.
I know, but I didn't want to see child porn. I just wanted to see, like, okay, let me pretend like I'm a pedophile for a second.
Okay, by the way, just for the record, the police, I have nothing to do with this. I didn't know that.
I'm like sitting here as I'm playing this and I'm like, and it's Shane's video, it's not even mine. I'm not saying these words, and I'm like, YouTube probably won't let this video go through.
Like, you can literally get arrested for saying...
I know, listen, let me finish. Sorry. So I typed in naked baby. First of all, I don't understand why anybody would be turned on by that. But...
That's the first good thing you said.
But... they were sexy. I'm kidding. Okay, back to the Instagram. So I look at this little girl's pictures, and she had makeup on. She had her tongue out. She was doing like the peace sign. She was doing a backflip. And one of them, she was in the shape of a pretzel, and she put #NoFilters, #pretzel. I mean, like, I'm not making this up. Why are children...
Was she really 6 or was she like 9?
She was 6.
She must have been like 10.
No, I asked her. Her bio on Instagram is, I'm 6, bitch.
Stop it.
I think that's how people
Why?
figured it out or something like that.
Was she bad?
No, she was like a skinny little sexy 6-year-old.
Alright, can we please move on?
No, so that's my ugh. Why are children having Instagrams, and why do they almost have as many followers as I do?
Oh, so that's what it's really about, okay? Why they almost have... Oh, okay. So anyway, now, again, let's watch. I'm going to have to leave it up here a little bit longer, so we're just going to sit here like while I'm like looking at the camera. Actually, let's just play this time I won't include it because I probably did it all wrong. But let's watch the Shannon Mokler, hold on, where was it at? The Shannon Mokler thing where she's talking about it, okay. Okay, where's the sound on it?
Me this video of this completely creepy pedophile guy who made a podcast about my daughter. We are well aware of it, and I appreciate everybody sending it to me, but you can stop.
So, Shannon Mokler addressed it. People made videos about it, but what's interesting about it is nowhere online can you find this, except for in T-Sesh's tweet. I mean, literally nowhere can you find this. I mean, I was kind of blown away, in all honesty. I was like, why is this not anywhere online anymore? I mean, nobody's talking about this. I mean, Shannon Mokler came out and called Shane Dawson a creepy Pete, and there's not one thing about it. Has Shane Dawson, like, wiped the internet? Did he hire somebody? I mean, you could do that. Did he hire somebody to wipe the internet of this? In all honesty, there's not that many stories about his comments about Willow Smith. You know? So, but it's a bigger picture than that to me, okay? It's obviously super problematic. Shane Dawson came out and said that he made inappropriate jokes. He never addressed what those jokes were or what they said they were. Okay, you know, this was what, 2018? It's 7 years later at this point. Has Shane Dawson grown as a person? Absolutely. You know, people are talking about, you know, for a long time I didn't like, you know, I understood that he had made these inappropriate jokes. I never really thought that Shane, this is just me being real about this in a second. I never really thought that Shane was that person. I just thought his humor was just like really bad, blah, 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 whatever, right? But then people like were concerned about him having kids. I mean, there's whole like threads and articles of people, videos being made of people talking about that, right? And I was like, no, it's just taking a joke too far. But when you hear it in that context, it is like, you know, like the fact that he never came out and addressed it, and there are still people talking about it today that are confused about it. So I'm not necessarily, first of all, I have to make this very clear. I do not believe in cancel culture, okay? I don't believe it exists. I believe that Shane Dawson had about 30 allegations that came towards him, and he still has 2 homes, 2 magnificent homes, okay? And puts out like a video a week on his podcast. So he's able to support himself financially off of that and that cash grab that he had with Jeffree Star. So he is not canceled. I've said this for a very long time. Canceled means you are no longer able to make YouTube videos, and you are no longer, like, nobody wants to see you in the public eye, none of that kind of stuff, right? And you literally, like, have to go get a job as the host of, you know, Walmart or Chili's or something like that. And then even then, when people come in, they're like, aren't you Shane Dawson? Didn't you get canceled over those allegations? But you're just doing that because you have to put food on the table for your family and your kids. That's what cancellation to me looks like for an influencer. We don't really see that. You know, James Charles, who came out and he had these huge allegations, okay, of speaking inappropriately to minors, okay, to minors, that people made all these excuses about it. And it's now we're like, I don't know, does it say on here when this James Charles accountability video first came out? Let me look and see if it says anything on here in the description box. What it says about it. Re-uploaded so that I or anyone who gets this link doesn't give James views. He doesn't deserve the views. Oh, I guess this was, so it says 2021. Is that when it came out? Anyway, they say they don't encourage any negativity. Well, they say other things. Threats towards James or the victims. Don't send hate to the victims. I can't control anybody, but please be considerate. You know, and it's like, with the Colleen Ballinger thing happened, I had seen enough of these supposed cancellations. I mean, James Charles came out in an article in Cosmopolitan and said, please uncancel me. When you're staying in a $5,000 hotel room, and just put this in perspective, for all of you out there that watch the TikToks, okay, and buy the makeup and things like that, how many $5,000 hotel rooms are you staying in a year? In a 5-year period, in a 10-year period, okay? You know, Shane Dawson and Rylan Adams have a working farm in Colorado, and they drive extravagant cars. People just sent me pictures the other day of him shopping at Neiman Marcus. You know, I mean, they have a ranch in California. How many of you can say that? And I'm not saying that they shouldn't have that. I'm just saying, when we talk about cancellation, if that's what cancellation looks like, I mean, it's looking pretty good for them, you know? James Charles came out, and I think it's the forgetter, right? When I came out and I started talking about the Colleen Ballinger thing, what I said was that, and you can include this as my Colleen Ballinger video for the month, I said I was going to continue to talk about Colleen Ballinger until she came out and addressed the allegations. I think at this point we know Colleen Ballinger is not going to come out and address the allegations. I don't plan to make 10 videos about it a month, but I'm also not going to stop talking about it. When it comes up, I will talk about it. One of my fears, okay, of covering commentary, drama, people get so ate up with those words. We're just talking about this stuff that's going online with influencers. Call it what you want, right? But it isn't just drama. It is dangerous. And when we're talking, like Swoop says, and when we're talking about this stuff, right, and I'm talking about Colleen Ballinger, and I'm referencing back James Charles, right, and I'm talking about that, and now here we are talking about Shane Dawson, and people are like, Peter, it wasn't Alabama Barker. And I'm like, I remember it being Alabama Barker, even if it was 7 years ago. And this is not like an I told you so moment. I want to make that very clear. This is just like a reminder of why drama channels exist and why these things come up anyway. Like, in all honesty, what was the point of Shane Dawson supposedly being canceled to begin with if nobody was going to remember it 5 to 7 years later, or at least expect him to come out and prove that he's changed as a person, or that he's a different person, or that he's redeemed himself in some kind of way, or that he's made a full apology, or, I mean, why did we do all that, you know? Why did we go through the cancellation of James Charles and all these allegations to just all these years later have him on a TikTok or an Instagram story like I just showed the other day of him ranting and raving about people dipping into his DMs, and he says in there, because he wants a redhead for a model, and in that thing, I didn't even get into this because it's so muted at this point, nobody cares. He said, all the ginger guys out there, I'm fine for you to dip into my DMs. And I'm like, nobody catches this. When James Charles came out in an article a year and a half ago and said that people say that he has to be like a doorman in his DMs, when he previously came out and said he wasn't going to talk to people in his DMs anymore because he knew it was dangerous. Now he's checking IDs in his DMs, right? Nobody cares anymore. And the reason I'm talking about this is when the Colleen Ballinger allegations came out and the victims have moved on and on that, and they, you know, moved through their pain and they're doing what they're doing now and things like that. And who wants to live in that for the rest of their life? I'm sure they don't. And so it's like, but Colleen Ballinger is still making videos. She's figuring out how to pivot from this, and probably 2 to 3 years down the road, her vlogs won't be getting 50,000 views. She'll have turned it into something else, and she'll be getting hundreds of thousands of views again, probably going back on tour, and people will have forgotten. Just like when James Charles lost 3 million subscribers in one day, and then it became this back and forth between who is the liar, him, Toddy Westbrook, Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star. Then it became about the drama, you know? And then James Charles was redeemed. And then a year later, some people said there's so many allegations. James said it. There's so many allegations, you can't believe any of them. You can't believe the 2. Well, that's 2 victims, okay? You can't believe those people. Then the Cosmopolitan article even furthered and victim shamed and blamed and said that one of the victims came out and apologized because he had lied to James Charles. A minor lied to a powerful influencer and is apologizing for that. Probably because their idolization of James Charles, right? But Cosmopolitan used it as an example to uncancel James Charles. And if other people are in Cosmopolitan is, then there's no reason for us to hold these accounts. There's no reason for us to take them as serious anymore, right? And so people forget. People forget that this even happened with Shane Dawson and Alabama Barker, that he made a podcast talking about this. People forget about this. And I'm not saying that we should remember it every day, but I guess my question would be to you is, what should we expect from these influencers? Is getting in a video and saying, I apologize, I made some inappropriate jokes, is that enough? You know, or is it, should they apologize directly to that person and say what they did? I mean, with Shane Dawson, there were so many allegations. I don't even know how he did that video. You know, I did say years ago, you can fact check this, I said a smart video for Shane to do would be to go back and show the beginning of his career and then show the problematic times and where he is today and how he's grown and changed as a person. And do a whole, like he does all these documentaries on everybody else, do one on himself, turn the camera on himself, and show why I thought it was okay to make those jokes at the time, why it was a different climate of humor, why I thought it was appropriate to make those jokes. I played for you the podcast. He stands behind those jokes. He said they were inappropriate jokes and that he turns his wounds into humor, is what he said. I get that. I understand turning your wounds into humor. Okay, but is that enough? Is that enough for us to move on past this? I guess it probably is for a lot of people, right? And I'm not on here to like, let's remember and bring up everything that happened. That's not who I want to be. You know, when I started on YouTube, it's interesting because people were bringing out things that had happened 10 years before. Now it's like, I've been on YouTube long enough. I mean, this was 7 years ago. This was the first 2 years of my career on YouTube. I mean, it's crazy in retrospect to think that it's been that long. But I don't think people really care anymore. So is it drama or is it dangerous? I think that most people want to say it's dangerous, but I don't think that they really think that that's true. Because if they did, then nobody would be watching these people's podcasts or their videos. They wouldn't be staying in $5,000 hotel rooms. They wouldn't be living in mansions in Beverly Hills and California like Colleen Ballinger. They wouldn't be taking all these, you know, trips and buying all these luxury items. You know, they sure as shit wouldn't be coming out with brands like Painted by James Charles. And that's just 3 of the people online. There's been so many people, you know, and I think at this point, it's almost like a rite of passage to, you know, back when I started, a rite of passage for beauty influencers or influencers in general was to have some beef, like I talked about yesterday with Alabama Barker and Bad Baby. Back in the day, it was kind of a rite of passage for influencers to have a beef with somebody else, you know? Jeffree Star and, you know, James Charles, Jeffree Star and Manny MUA and Patrick Star, you know? It was kind of this rite of passage that you went through. Today, it almost kind of seems like it's a rite of passage for people to go through a complete cancellation based on some really problematic accusations and never really make any real response to it and just sit in a timeout chair for long enough and then they get their careers back, you know? I don't know. Are we okay with that? I guess the question lies in your hands because like I said, I'm just a drama commentary channel bringing you guys the information. I will never tell anybody you shouldn't watch somebody, you shouldn't buy their products. I question why people do, but I will never tell anybody not to. That's your choice. But if you do, what is enough for you to continue to say, oh, this person's changed or that's changed or whatever? I would be really interested to know, and I think it's an important conversation we need to have. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.